Okay. Well, that seems pretty dark. Well, that's a little better there. Okay. Well, good morning. I'm Jan Erickson. I write the blog Stepping Aside, and I do this somewhat daily tarot and rune thing every day. I don't do it on the weekends, and if there's a holiday, I don't, but I figure somewhat daily works, I think. Finished putting in the last bed yesterday. That was fun. We waited because it did frost last night, or night before last. It did frost, and so the frost blankets helped, but some things still got bit on the ones that we put, you know, like garbage cans and pots and things over. They didn't work as well. So, but it didn't kill the plants. That's the most important thing. And everything in the dome, I have big Mama Roma tomatoes all around the dome, inside the dome. And we wrapped part of the dome outside of it, which is fascinating to watch. But and then we put the frost blankets over all the tomatoes, and they made it. And all the peppers inside. We do Thai peppers, and we grow them inside first, and also tomatoes inside, and then we put them out. And we always try to beat the frost and try to get things, you know, growing sooner. But, you know, you have to take precautions if you do that, and it either works for you or it doesn't. So, but so far, it seems to be doing well. So, today is the 31st of May. It's a Thursday. So last minute things to do in May all happen in one day, don't they? At least they do in my house. It's like, oh no, another month. Well, we didn't do that. So. Well, Morningstar is on here, and they're asking me to pull a card for them. So what I will do is I will do that, and then I'll do the daily tarot and rune. So we will count 13 for Morningstar. Oh, well, this is a lovely card. It's kind of a card of celebration. You're going to stop and take stock. You know, it's the Four of Wands. You can see that there's a celebration. You've got 4 wands with wreaths above. And you've got a couple of people in the background in front of the castle, and they're happy and they're celebrating. So it looks like a positive card for today. 4 is about structure. So, you know, maybe some structure in your life is solidifying, and you can be happy about it. You know, balance. So good card. Good card for Morningstar. So let's shuffle a little bit more. I like the 4 of Wands. It generally means things are going well. So we'll see what else the day's going to bring. Maybe we can tag along with the 4 of Wands and Morningstar's day today and use those influences as well. Wouldn't it be interesting if I pull that again? So then we'll know that's for everyone. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, I pulled this one last night in a reading I was doing. Let's see. I love this card because I don't like to see it the way that it is. But here we have, I know the 7s in tarot are sometimes funny, but let's see if we can get this better. But the 7 of Swords is basically you've got a thief there. You know, you could, there's some kind of affair going on, or no, actually it's not affair. What that is when in the past, in the medieval times, when they'd go to battle, they'd set up their tents, and that's what they'd be in when, so that this is basically a warrior thing. And this guy's coming along and he's stealing some of their swords. They've put down their swords, they're taking some time out, and maybe they've won or something, but this guy's going to go and steal some swords. So perhaps he's stealing some awareness. He's stealing, I mean, it could be more than just the physical swords themselves, because swords is an air sign, it's an air suit. And what it means is it's talking about our intellectual presence and our communication. So, maybe they're trusting too much, and someone's doing something behind the scenes and behind their backs that they don't know about. 7 is an interesting number, though, because I just don't see sevens this way. 7 is it's a number for magic. It's an interesting number, though, because to me it indicates balance. You've got to me it indicates the scales. So you've got 3 and 3 on either side of the 1. So 3 and 3 and 1 is 7, right? So visually, when I see 7, I think balance. But tarot doesn't see it that way, typically. You've got, there's one where I think it's the 7 of cups, where it's all, illusion and dreams and whatnot. I don't know. I just see it differently. Typically, this means that you need to think outside the box a little bit, because things are not always the way they seem. From the standpoint of the perspective of the people in the tents, the warriors in the tents, the knights in the tents, things are not as they seem. So they need to not leave their swords hanging around, because there's always going to be somebody that's going to pick them up, right, and take off with what you have. So whatever strategy that you had, maybe someone else has the strategy of coming and taking what you're doing, and so you've got to be a little careful about that. This also indicates unwise action, either on both parts. You're leaving everything out there, and you're not keeping your own counsel, basically. You're leaving it all out there for someone else to just take. So the other thing that this also this other thing says to me is a theft of intellectual property. So maybe, those of us who write, maybe we need to be a little more careful about our intellectual property. So there's that. But let's see if the runes will give us just a little bit more. So we'll let the runes flow through my hands. Again, I like to let the runes decide what's going to come out. Or who knows, maybe it's the Norns are influencing it. Who knows? All right. Oh, Isa. That is a Norn rune of the static realm. So, Isa, present moment. The thing about Isa is the 11th rune of the Elder Futhark. Isa, being the 11th rune, is probably one of the most soul-centered runes of the Elder Futhark, I think, anyway. Not only because it's a Norn rune, but because it just is. All right, it just is. You just are. You're perfect alignment with who you are as source energy, in perfect alignment with your purpose. Evidently, this guy's purpose is to steal, and the purpose of the people in the tents is to ignore that things are being stolen. Maybe the idea is to just, not do that, but either one. But Isa is, it basically freezes a situation. So it represents Verdandi, which is the rune of the static realm, the rune of becoming. It indicates ice. It indicates a standstill. It indicates the development of one's will. So in a sense, it's our will when it's at its most concentrated. It takes a lot to stay aligned and not be distracted by the world around us. Here you have people that are not paying attention to what's going on outside, and someone's taking something from them. But Isa tells us that, we need to pay attention. We need to align in our spirit focus, in our soul-centered focus, and gain some clarity. This just means we've taken our eye off the ball. Once again, we did that yesterday. We were told to not, by the cards, to look before we leap. Well, again, this is telling us, Isa's telling us to align in our source presence, align in our own spirit, and see what is actually happening. In a sense, it doesn't just, what it's also doing is it's binding our soul presence, our soul-centered presence, and our spirit with our ego. And it's basically getting all of that in sync so that the ego's not doing this. And instead, we're staying, aligned in our own source presence, which is a better place to be. So if we're not paying attention, which this seems to say, hey, pay attention to what's going on around you. Things may be happening that you're not aware of. What Isa can tell you, let's see if I say this right. It can indicate that you're stuck in a pattern. Let's say it that way. That you're stuck in a pattern where you can't see clearly. Okay. You're just not, your focus is not still. So basically, I think that that's what this is really saying today, is that still our minds, still our focus, so that we can then see what's actually going on. We get too caught up. And I think that that's really what this is saying. Just don't get so caught up today. Take a moment to bring your inner awareness to stillness, and let that be your presence for the day. And maybe observe more, react less, pay attention to what's going on. And the other thing that this also strikes me as, and this is why I say that I think it's one of the most soul-focused runes that there is. This is about integrity. We stand in our own power. We stand in our own integrity. And I think that when we allow the ego to pull us in a lot of different directions, we lose some of that. We lose that soul focus. And so I think that when you stand in your own power, you're letting other people know that you're not going to take advantage of me today. Just don't even try that, because that's not going to work. So that's the other thing I like about Isa, is like, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. And I'm no one to be reckoned with. It's you just need to just step back now. And that's what to me Isa means the most. It's the strength of the goddess within, to stand there and say, this is how things are going to be. So it's a water element rune. So maybe that's a change. Water means change. Water is emotions. So maybe we've let other people do too much to us. Maybe we've let too many people push us around or take from us. And with Isa, let's draw all that back in and say, you know what? We go no further. We're going to stand in our own power today. We're not going to take our eye off the ball and allow things to happen. We're not going to take from other people. We're going to use the power of the Norns to align within in our own source presence. So that's cool. This is actually really a cool thing. See, and then we have the Four of Wands from Morningstar, where, we can then celebrate, because, hey, everything's cool now. So interesting. All right. Well, that's really all I have for today. I'm going to drink my tea. I put all of my, when I was ill, I was doing the cannabis, getting that all going. I was also formulating herbs and tinctures for the RA. And so I put all of them, everything I do. I did an RA tincture with a bunch of different herbs in it, and I do that every day. And then I did nettle tincture, which is real good to do. If you have nettle growing on your property, covet it. I mean, I have actually these little fencing things around mine so the ducks stay off of it, because evidently they like nettle. They chewed it to the ground last year, and I can't have that. I have to have the nettle. So I don't like buying herbs. I like growing them. So, and nettle doesn't grow here. It's too dry. So I had to buy seeds and actually plant it. And so I protect it. But nettle's real good to keep your body in order. The whole idea behind illness is that our bodies become toxic. And so you want to focus on herbs that are going to deal with all that. So with RA, any autoimmune, rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease. It probably ought to be called rheumatic disease and not rheumatoid arthritis, but whatever. But I do that, and I do teas, and I do the nettle tincture. I have hawthorn trees growing, so I do hawthorn berry tincture for cardiac support, and then I do a menopause tincture because I'm at that age, where that's happening. So today I just stuck it all in my tea, my green tea. I'll do an infusion later. It's just real important to keep things moving through the body, especially if you're dealing with illness. I've been in remission now since 2011. So, yay cannabis and yay the herbs, but it's just important to stay well, and makes everything so much better when you can be well. So in any event, have a lovely day. I need to take a drink though. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you, I guess today's Thursday, so we'll see you tomorrow, and blessed be.